Hello, Tiger fans. We're here today to celebrate the Gupton Ridley Memorial Gym, and we have in studio one of the Pearl High Tigers from 1969, and he wants to tell us why the new Gupton Ridley Memorial Gym is a family affair. Michael? In studio today, we're delighted to have Michael Bryant from the Pearl High Tiger team of 1969, the graduating team of 1969. Michael Bryant, tell us why you believe that the Gupton Ridley Memorial Gym is a family affair.
Well, according to my family, I had one brother who played for Coach Gupton in 1958 with Ronald Lawson. They won the national tournament. Then after him, I had another brother named Lee Andrew, who played with Victor Rouse and them on the 63 team with Coach Ridley. Of course, he played for Gupton and Ridley because that was Ridley's first year. Then I come along, I was on the team from 67 to 69. So I played for Coach Ridley. That makes the connection between Gupton and Ridley a family affair on my behalf.
That's an awesome testimony, because it shows how Pearl High was a thread that ran through the community but also ran through family traditions as well. And so we find that you've probably been able to utilize some of that Pearl High flavor as you've done some other things with Metro Parks. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I worked for Metro Parks approximately almost 40 years, but yet the discipline that I learned from Coach Ridley and the plays that we had 5 plays. And you can run those plays on either side of the court, and you can run 3 plays on zone defense and all 5 on a man defense. So therefore, I used the same maneuver that Coach Ridley taught me in the community centers, and that was a championship. The first year that Metro Parks had a state tournament, we won the state championship with using the Ridley plays. Also, one fella on my team is coaching East High. He also won a state championship.
Who was that?
Avery Patton. Avery Patton just won the state championship for East High in another division. But yet, I've taught him the plays and I taught him the discipline, hopefully, because I really don't know. Maybe he should have taught me. He's the state champion. So, but I did hear him use one of the things that I shared with him in an interview he gave with someone else, and that was simply, you don't shoot every time you get the ball. You have to give the balls to your big man, because most of the shots that you're forcing are bad shots. You don't care whether they make them or not. You're not making them, so keep them happy so they can keep running with you. Anything else?
Yeah.
Now the plays that, the 5 plays I spoke of, it was called 0, 00, 1, 2, and 3. And we also had one extra one to hold the ball down. The most thing that I liked about going to Pearl High School was his coaching statics and his discipline of the team. We could run this ball with our fast break. We can set on this ball, and he knew exactly when to give that title growl. So therefore, knowing that, I taught the same thing to the kids that came through the community center on my behalf. Even there was a fella that played on that 66 championship team, and of course a lot of the players went to Metro Parks, Ron Parham and another player, Tony Mormon. Tony Mormon watched my teams play, and the first thing he said is, Mike, I know them plays from somewhere. so you can bet that Ridley was on that court with me. The number one play was a screen and roll, but the best thing about all these plays, I say 5, but all of them had 3 options. Therefore, I taught kids, just because a man is open, you don't have to try to force that pass. If you cannot pass it, they'll come open again. The main thing to cut down the other team is to keep control of that ball, because what you trying to force can come into a turnover. Even missed shots are turnovers. So therefore I teach exactly from the mindset and not the skill set, because your skills develop over the years. But if you don't have the mind of basketball, your skills won't do you too much good. A man that know the game can beat you. So the first play was one. It's nothing but a screen and roll, and he rolls. If he don't switch, you got open shot. If he switch, you pass it in. If you can't pass it in because this man switched on you, it's too big for you, he goes across the floor and set another screen. Those are the 3 options on that play. Then you can also, if nothing happened, you can bring it back and set it back up. Setting it back up give you another opportunity. And also, if you think about it, keep the other team from scoring, because we have not made a turnover yet. So therefore, I just say that those plays, 2 was a double screen on the baseline. That's where the ball come to one side. As a matter of fact, we had a point guard, 2 wingmen, and 2 low post men. That was our setup. So if the ball come to one side, the other wingman go down with the low post man on the other side and set a double screen. When I get a ball back, when the person get the ball back to the point guard, the other low post man come around the screen, and the guard drives it over there. The wingman go in the basket on this side, because you have to keep a flow balance. Now, the thing is that it's all a mind game. If they set the screen down low and that man want to go out on the man that's coming around, you feed the ball inside. Okay. If not, then you bring it back and set it up. As a matter of fact, I said 1 point guard. The wingmen are point guards too, because whoever end up in that position becomes the point guard. That was the magnificent thing. And we can send 4 people to the offensive board, but the one who end up in that point guard spot, he stays back. So no team can get an uncontested layup against us. We always had a man hanging back. Nobody knew that.
Well, that's a formula for success.
That's greatly. And success, we have shown that over the years.
Oh yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about Coach Ridley, because I played for him. One thing I want to say about Ridley is that he was very remarkable. The recruiting system for Pearl High School dwindled over the years, because at one point, even before my time, Pearl High School was the only high school in this city that people came to. Cameron didn't become a high school until 1957.
Okay.
But when integration started, and on behalf of that, Warden and Washington were Pearl feeders. What happened was that Freddie Petway, that went to Hume Falls from Washington, and when he went there, he took his brothers with him and some of the Washington Tigers with him. When Freddie went there, he became the state scoring leader as a sophomore.
Oh yeah, that's in the history.
That caused the black players to start going to Caucasian schools, glory seeking. So Warden recruits start going to North High. If you remember, they are the Yankees. That cut Pearl feeder system down to just a few people coming from Washington.
Because one of the Ruckers went to North.
Richard Rucker.
Because Jesse
went to Pearl. Right.
And then
that was it. Well, Reuben Sanders and George Pope taught Rucker, and Sonny Snell, another supposed to be a Pearl High recruit, he came to Pearl. They talked him into transferring. Sonny Snell became an all NIL player.
Wow.
Okay? So
So you're saying
basically,
it was much easier to shine in the Caucasian schools because you were a big fish in a little pond.
okay, but basically what I'm saying is with Coach Ridley's mind and his system, he overcame all of that, even that, because my senior year, we missed one game in becoming the NIL champions, and we lost that game by 2 points. Guess who to?
To Stratford.
North High School.
Oh, really?
North, Hume Falk, and Pearl kept knocking each other out of championships, giving away to Stratford. Now, if you think about it, if these three teams was combined with talent, then I would say that Stratford wouldn't have had a chance.
Right. I see.
But because we still had a chance, and we still got beat by our own players, because I'm going to include the Yankees and the Blue Devils in with Pearl High School, because that's where we originally supposed to win.
So Pearl was competing against Pearl, really?
Pearl was competing against Pearl, and Pearl was winning against Pearl, and Pearl was beating Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, my coach, and I thank God for bringing me on this pathway, and I thank my brothers for going there, because the legacy of the family, I lived out South Nashville, and I still went to Pearl.
Where did you live in South?
I lived off of Argyle, off of Edgehill,
Okay.
behind the Edgehill Project. So, and I rode the bus even before there was busing to Pearl High School, mainly because of the coach, and mainly because of my two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to continue that legacy, that family affair, and knowing that the family of the Tigers still exists today. And there's probably some other families out there that had different players come through under both coaches. I know one, Booker White, I saw him there. I don't know if he had kin folks to play for Pearl or not, but he played with Gupton with Q-Ball.
Okay.
So it's not just my family that makes Gupton and Ridley a family. It's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And even talking about that, you could even look at some cheerleaders who cheered under both of those groups.
Okay.
So
Well, maybe we'll have to get an interview with a couple of cheerleaders and round this discussion off, because truly it's so important to remember the traditions of the community, because we're rich in our heritage and we're rich in our experiences, but if we don't talk about them and make the connections, then the history will be lost. So I'm really thankful for your comments and for the links that you provided, so that we can understand better just why it was a wise decision to make it in honor of both Gupton and Ridley. And now you've provided an additional link. Not only were they both championship coaches, but they coached families, and families are the pillars of the community.
Well, there's one more thing, if I could say.
Go ahead.
One remark that your daddy made has always stayed with me. And that was that when someone asked him which was the best team, he said he would not try to pick one over another, because every age have their own season. He's had some great teams and some great players. And with that thought and that presence, we cannot put one over another, because we didn't come through at the same time.
Well, that's really interesting that you would say that, because as I was looking through all of the clippings and memorabilia, and also a couple of drafts that my dad had me typing of his history, those drafts have turned into 3 volumes of Pearl High history. But he was saying that the 1969 team was as good as the 66 team that won the championship. But he mentioned, and I really kind of probed that, he mentioned in his memoir, as he was dictating it to me, that he thought that one reason that you all got knocked out early in the state is because they made a new rule, I guess it was an NIL made a new rule, that everybody had to be clean shaven. So all of the guys had to cut off all their facial hair in order to participate in the tourney. And he felt like that perhaps enervated you guys.
Well, yes, but I think that rule came in a year before my senior year.
Okay.
I believe that was it, because he discussed everything with his team. He never held back anything. And that rule came in that you had to be clean shaven, and that's what held some of the players out, because some of them refused to do it at the right time, but they end up doing it because what? They love basketball.
They love basketball.
So,
You know, and I had a chance to talk to Perry about it, the late Perry Wallace, and you know, there's just a difference in the cultural expectations. And the cultural expectation was that they wanted a clean-shaven look out there in the tourneys, as they were desegregating. But it's always a tradition in our community that men are bearded or mustached if they should so choose. Then Coach Armstrong mentioned to me, which I talk about in the book, and then Coach Armstrong mentioned to me, as I talk about in the book, that it was the emphasis that was being placed on a rule of drawing an offensive charge. And Pearl committed a lot of floor mistakes that year, drawing the offensive charge, something that was totally new to the game. It wasn't that it was a new charge, but it was being emphasized more.
yes, a lot of that happened during my career at Pearl High School. There was a lot of changes made, a lot of things that the players may not understood why it was happening, but I can bet you the officials knew why it was happening. And as a matter of fact, my senior year, we were one of the shortest teams that Pearl ever had.
Who was on that team?
Myself, Billy Haston, Gary Brooks, Walter Overton, and Porter Williams were the starters. I was originally a guard at 6'2", but my senior year I had to play underneath the basket. But here's the amazing thing about that. We were the shorter team, and your father said we had to win on our quickness. But guess what? No team ever out-rebounded us.
Wow.
There was one team that, when I look back, tied us in rebounding, but no team ever out-rebounded us.
But who held the rebounds, you and Billy Hastings?
Billy Hastings and myself. Gary Brooks was
Gary's tall, yeah.
Yeah, Gary Brooks was a great jumper. But our big man was James Stone. He was a senior with me. Billy Hastings moved into that position because of some things that I know about Stone. It's not bad, but that kept him from starting. But he was one of the people that helped us get to where we were. And I give all respect to 6'4", all muscle James Stone.
Okay.
I weighed 6'2", 163 pounds. Billy Hastings was 6'2" and a half, probably weighed less than I did, and Gary Brooks was 6 feet, and he probably weighed less than I did. So when Stone came in the game, we had some flesh.
It made a difference.
It made a big difference.
Yeah. You know, I think we should roll now to some footage from 1969, because we're very fortunate to have some of the plays, and we want you to take a look at it and see if you can pick out Michael Bryant. What's your number?
25.
Okay, let's look for number 25 as this footage rolls.
24.
Okay, 24, 25. Let's look as that footage rolls of the 1969 team with Porter, Walter Overton, Gary Brooks, Billy Hastings, and let's see if we can find Stone on the court. We saw that fast break in action. We saw amazing quickness. And so my dad had always said that basketball was a game of heights, and the team with the tallest player was going to win. But it was hard to get around the quickness that you all did in the fast break.
Well, my senior year, we lost 3 games by 2 points each.
Who'd you lose to?
We lost to North High, which cost us the NAL championship. We lost to Human Fall, which cost us the district championship. And we lost to Chattanooga Howard at Chattanooga Howard. And we missed 19 free throws.
Wow.
At Chattanooga Howard.
What happened there?
Well, our concussion skills didn't show up. They can shoot free throws.
All right. So you all, so it was, and I did notice that as I was growing up that Caucasian teams always made the free throws. Our guys made the flash dance, all the dunks, but we were pretty weak on free throws overall. I mean, we made free throws, but by comparison, we lost a lot.
Well, we did, but I tell you, the worst games I had shooting, I made all my free throws for some reason.
Really?
God was with me. But other than that, even at Chattanooga Howard, we had 3 or 4 fast breaks with Gary Brooks handling the ball and went behind his back to James Stone.
Okay.
And threw it out of bounds. So that game was on the players, and that's the thing about it. Coaches coach. They do during the game, but that's the time to show our fans what we learned from our coach. That's not the time for coaches to. They very quick, and it's good. But even in the community centers, when parents came to the game, I always felt like, and I learned this from your dad, I do not holler at a child on the field or on the court. Your parent didn't come to watch you get hollered at.
I don't know, but really did plenty of hollering.
Well, he didn't holler at like coaches on the field holler at kids now. This is what I'm saying.
Oh,
he
okay.
holler instructions.
Okay.
But a lot of coaches you see is hollering at the kid.
Okay, that's a
Okay,
difference.
that's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
I'm glad you clarified that.
And that's what I loved about his coaching. There's so many techniques that you can pick up from. Those are just a few. I mean, he had many. For a person to continue as he did, even when you come to the 81 team, using football players.
Oh yeah.
That has to be a strategy of the coach.
Yeah.
That's not the kids. Riley Walton said they didn't have no basketball players. I remember that. See, I look at everything and I observe everything, and your dad put a lot of what can I say? He gave me a lot of privileges on the floor as being captain. He let me call timeout. I didn't have to ask him.
Really?
I would go over and share things with him, what I see on the floor.
Okay.
I would, even if I had the shots and couldn't make them, I would call timeout and ask him to let me and Porter switch places because I can't hit today. My shot's not on today. I don't want to keep throwing this ball up and have us lose. Let somebody go there that can hit that shot.
Well, that's a broad thinking captain. I mean, that's probably why you were captain, because you had a broad perspective. I know I've had a lot of interaction with players over the years, and they said, listen, I got to please my fans. I mean, I'm trying to get a scholarship. And if the fans want it, I'm going to give it. I'm going to bring it. But that takes a lot to give it up when it's not yours.
Only one time I didn't listen to your dad.
Uh-oh.
Can I tell you about that?
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's good.
Okay,
It's good on his behalf. It's bad on my behalf. It's
Go
not,
ahead.
it's
Go
not
ahead.
good. When I left Pearl, I wanted to go to TSU. He offered me to go to Lane College.
Oh.
And he said, I can get you into Lane College if that's where you want to go. Coach Harold Hunter had recruited me when I was a junior. But my senior year, he left TSU. Coach Martin came. Coach Martin was a big man. And he thought I was a big man, but I was a guard. I was switched. Remember I told you I was switched from a guard to a forward? So McLean that was out there, he said he wants you to come, Mike, but he don't want to give you no money. He give all his money to big men out of town. And I said no. Because like most players, I wasn't cocky, but I figured I knew my worth.
Okay.
Okay? I knew my worth. And I wasn't going for it. I ended up at Mississippi Valley State. Not because I wanted to, because my mother put me out, said I was going somewhere. Remember, it was 1969.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had some good years. I had a good year and a half down there. But it wasn't my desire. Mm-hmm. Ronnie Lawson, who played with my brother in 58 at Pearl High School, he recruited me. He was at Cameron. He wanted me to come to Fisk.
Okay.
But he wasn't the coach that year. He would be there next year. He told me to talk to Buster Ransom. Every time I went to Fisk, I would have went there because of Ronnie Lawson. But every time I went to Fisk to talk to Buster Ransom, I never could find him. Eventually, I gave that up. So what I'm telling you is, outside of my friends, your dad was my father figure.
Okay.
And a few others. And when I say your daddy, when I say Coach Ridley, I'm talking about his whole staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
They were a team.
Yeah, they were a team. They were a team of people. Armstrong showed me how to cut the man off on the baseline. Melvin Black's always been there to cheer you on. One time your daddy gave up on us. And guess who stepped in?
Who?
Coach Armstrong. We were at Clarksville Burke. And we had about 2.5 minutes to play. And they had a 7-point lead on us. And your dad called timeout. And this is what he said. I remember this. And don't get me wrong. It's my memory, 71-year-old memory, okay? When we went over there, he said, I told y'all about playing in practice. Go on out there and lose, if that's what you're going to do. Now, he didn't tell us to go lose. He said, if that's what you're going to do. And we were walking out there, and Coach Armstrong said, you all come back. Come back here. And this is the only thing he said. Go out there and put that press on them and win this game. And that's exactly what we did. Wow. It was just an uplifting.
That's good.
That's good. And the miraculous thing is, I don't know if the others believed it, but I didn't believe it, that we were going to win. But guess what? I'm checking a man out of bounds on the press, and he handed me the ball 3 straight times, and I made layups.
Wow. Yeah.
Every time the official get it to him, he throw it to me. I mean, he just throw it to me, and it just happened. And then we start pulling our way up the floor.
And with 7 minutes left? 6 minutes by then?
No. It was 2.5 minutes when we were down.
Oh, wow.
And this boy threw the ball all the way down the floor to the half court. And nobody was down there because everybody done pulled up. That boy went to the basket, and we were still down by 1 point. That boy went to the basket and hit that basketball, that backboard so hard, that ball came all the way back up to half court. And Porter picked it up, and we won the game.
Wow. You know, you mentioned that Coach Armstrong stepped right in there, and because it was a mindset. So when you say Pearl High basketball or Pearl High athletics, the coaches work so well together because they went to school together. They played together. They were in the same neighborhood growing up. And incidentally, all of the coaches lived within a 4-point spread. You had Coach Ridley here on the corner of Crouch and Bontemps, or Bontemps. And you had Jim Bryant right across the street. Mm-hmm. And then if you look just to the left, Armstrong was up 3 houses. Mm-hmm. And then if you look over the yards, you could see Melvin Black's house from Armstrong's house.
That's right.
So not only were they on a coaching staff, it was way more than that. They knew each other's strengths and they knew each other's weaknesses, and they were just like a seamless machine.
That's right.
They were a machine. You know, they were past an organization, because an organization depends upon who's in it. But a machine, those parts just move together like pulleys and wheels, and what you described is the beauty of having that kind of relationship with the people that you're coaching with and having a mutual goal. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Well, you know, to think of it, and then I'm okay, but you think of it, you never know if that was some plan in their mind that Coach really said, go on, if that's what you want to do, lose, and he called us back to do that. So we can never figure that out. You never know if that's what sparked it.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
And they are, I tell you, I've said it once before, I thank God for the union that I've had with these coaches, because it has led me down a pathway to help other kids,
Yeah.
to bring his thought pattern, his structure into other kids, the discipline, because so many kids I ran into was all about scoring and not about winning. They were all about self, not team players. And I'm gonna stop there because I got plenty, and I don't wanna sound boring, but I can remember North, my junior year. I think that was probably one of my best games at Pearl High School, my junior year. And we beat them at Pearl. Of course, they beat us over there. We always split with them. But
And this was in the Gupton Ridley gym.
this was
This
was
very
definitely-
gym. Yeah.
Definitely in the Gupton Ridley gym. And they had Sonny Snell, Richard Rucker, Reuben Sanders, and all of them.
Yeah.
And we had Claude Grant, another TSU graduate, Stanley McLay, myself, and a few others. But that game was, when you had high school games with 2,000 people packing the gym,
Oh, yeah.
you know it was magnificent.
It was, and people were there to watch the game. They weren't there to do anything else. Well, they were there for a hookup, perhaps, but they weren't. They weren't there to do anything like, you know. We didn't have any fights. I mean, I don't care how many people was in the gym. You did not have fights breaking out like you see breaking out at games these days.
Well, I have to disagree with that.
Really?
Yes.
Are they like they are
No,
these
no,
days?
no,
These
no,
kids-
no. I have to disagree with that. We did have one fight at Pearl High School, but it wasn't the kids. When that man, my senior year, said Porter's half court didn't count against North, when North beat us by 1 point, the officials didn't make it out of that.
Oh my goodness.
But it was not due to the team or anything. It was due to the fans.
Because I was going to say that the people were so focused on their teams, showing the team spirit, doing whatever part they had or whatever role they had to play. And if it was the pep squad, if it was just to be in the stands cheering the team on, people were focused.
Half-timers and all that.
Half-timers. The girl who sold the hot dogs and twisted the ends of the
And they brought their family, the kids.
Yeah, it was.
It was a family.
It was a
affair,
family
like I said.
affair.
Family
It was a
affair.
family affair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cut this out. I mean, I didn't say it too much, so don't.
No, but it's good.
you know.
He can roll it, but he can cut it. Just at any point.
But it's just that even now I just have memories. Those are some of the best days of my life during that time period. And I think if it wasn't for, and this is a true statement from me, if it wasn't for basketball and sports, I may not have ever graduated from high school. And whatever leads you down that pathway, make sure it leads you the right way.
Yeah.
Hmm?
No,
But-
it
but-
was one. Those were the best days of my life as well, because I was an onlooker, but I never missed a practice and I never missed a game.
I can remember your brother coming to practice
Yeah.
with your dad up there running around on the balcony
Yeah.
and stuff and jumping. He said, "Boy, stop that!" Yeah, those were great times, and he lived on. He
Yeah.
lives on. His work lives on. His legacy lives on. The Pearl High legacy lives on. The family lives on. And I give all glory to God for that.
Yeah, because it's a family affair.
Yes, it is a family
right.
affair.
Thank you for joining us. We've had Michael Bryant, Pearl High Tiger, ending class of 1969, and he shared some wonderful memories with us. We're so happy that he joined us, and we want to invite you to read more about it in Basketball Glory, Bringing Back the Glory, or What I Know About Leadership I Learned from Basketball. The Pearl High history is our history, and it's our history to share and to celebrate. And remember, you are a part of the story. Bye now.